not comparing myself up here to George Washington, not comparing myself to Jesus, but what I am saying is that I think when we recognize the symbolism in these monuments and we can tune into it, we can use these monuments as catalysts to activate our inner rainbow bridges preparatory to crossing the cosmic rainbow bridge to the beyond. So when we see an ancient depiction like this on the left, this is Queen Elizabeth from the 1600s, and she's raising the rainbow bridge. And to me, this picture of the right is the same thing, only the modern version, the raising of our inner rainbow bridges. So we see figures like this, fully activated, their chakra system beaming to the top within these colorful rainbow rings. What I'm seeing when I look at this, it's as if we're looking into the end of the rainbow. And this is your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, alchemically speaking. We all become the pots of gold. Alright, not to get off the subject, we'll get back. Getting back, now we're in the basement of the Gateway Arch. We came back down in the sun door, get out. One last monument to check out, which is Thomas Jefferson. This is the Jefferson National Expansion. He's standing tall, standing proud, looking handsome, on this dock surrounded by concentric rings. Well, I could speculate all day, but I'll just tell you what the artist says about this, who created it. He says, carved from the vast underground space beneath the Gateway Arch, the museum's circular design of spanning rings seeks to create a space-time continuum to provide an appropriate three-dimensional, multisensory visitor experience. In the artist's own words, Thomas Jefferson standing in a space-time continuum in the basement, or the underworld, of the Gateway Arch, which we've seen as part of the Rainbow Bridge symbolism. I mean, who knew that Thomas Jefferson was in a space-time continuum in the Gateway Arch? Well, he is. There he is. And I love to Google these things, get the bird's eye perspective, and I was surprised when I Googled the Gateway Arch, and I zoomed in, and even on a sunny day, it seemed to have somewhat of a rainbow aura to it. It's been a fluke on that day, but, you know, there it is. And sometimes the symbolism works its way right into public events. Last year, every month they had an astronomical event there, and they actually called it the Gateway to the Stars. The Gateway to the Stars. So that's the Gateway Arch. So that's just one sculpture, one monument we just looked at. And just one sculpture that you can actually go into, go up, and get all this incredible symbolism of it. So now we're going to just briefly look at the Gateway Mall. And we could spend a whole day looking at this Gateway Mall, but I'm just going to show you a couple sculptures today. And this is the brand new City Garden part of the Gateway Mall. One of my favorite sculptures is Eros, the Greek and Roman god. This is supposed to be symbolic of an ancient artifact that's been rediscovered. And over the years, the Greek god Eros took on several personifications. Originally, he was hatched from the cosmic egg, and in other cases, many of us are more familiar with him in the forms of Cupid. And this beautiful painting was done by my friend Patty Lou. But in a less known personification of Eros, his mother was actually Iris, the rainbow goddess, the goddess of the rainbow bridge. And of course, our Iris, is named after Iris, the rainbow goddess. And, well, the reason I'm even bringing this up is because something incredible happens with this sculpture. You can actually walk into the head of Eros and become the Iris of Eros. And when you do so, you're actually looking back at the Gateway Arch. So symbolically speaking, what's happening is you become the Iris of Eros. You look back at the throne of Iris, the rainbow goddess, the Gateway Arch or the Rainbow Bridge, and I mean, incredible symbolism. Well, one other thing you can contemplate while you're being the Iris of Eros, looking at that Gateway Arch, you can think to yourself, who created that Gateway Arch? Eros, Saramin. And, you know, do I think the artist Igor Mataraj realize what he was doing when he made this Eros sculpture? Honestly, I don't think so. I think sometimes this symbolism that shows up when the time is right, in the right spot, and it might come right into the blueprints of the artist unconsciously on occasion. Yes?
Aren't they all Masons who do all this and they know all about it?
On occasion, yes, but after a lot of research, more times than not, no. Yeah, more times than not, no. We'll get into some of the Mason sculptures momentarily. So, getting back, he was originally hatched from the cosmic egg, which makes sense because the next sculpture we're going to look at, right next to Eros, is called the Door of Return, and it has a giant cosmic egg on top of it. And once again, I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to read right out of the City Garden brochure. And it says that the egg-shaped form at the top of the door resembles a seed that is just split open, or a mouth that opens to the sky like a baby's first try. Artist Ken Yasuda has left the answer deliberately ambiguous, leading us to think about time and space, life and death, the past and the present, and when we pass through the door, what's the place we are returning to? Another sculpture talking about time and space. And I should point out, these monuments many times, I said they're hidden in plain sight, but sometimes all you gotta do is read the name of the monument. They'll tell you what they are. The Door of Return, the Gateway Arch. It's right on the plaques. I like to call this the Door of Return in action. This little boy just, having a ball. Looks like he almost recognizes that door. So we just scratched the surface in Stargate St. Louis. Showed you some rainbow bridge symbolism and just incredible symbolism down here. But what I think is starting to happen is that artists, architects, sometimes authors, sometimes just tuned in people in general are tuning in to these cosmic energies and picking up on this symbolism. And sometimes we're being downloaded with this symbolism via public events, mass media, but more times than not, it's the emergence of art and architecture. Which will bring us to our next city. Because it's not just one city, obviously. Let's take a look at Stargate, Chicago, the Windy City. And another one of my favorites. We're going to look at a brand new park built in 2004 called Millennium Park, largest rooftop garden in the world. And the first thing we'll look at is to the right. See, this is the Serpent Bridge. We'll follow the Serpent Bridge into the picture pavilion that kind of looks like a pine cone or maybe a pineal gland there. Then if you look to the far left, you got that silver thing kind of looking like a U.F.O. down there. That's actually Cloud Gate. So we'll cross the Serpent Bridge. This was created by architect Frank Gehry, incredible architect. And well, to me, the title reminds me of the Serpent Mound. You have the serpent and cosmic egg. Also, several crop circles have formed like this. And when we see the serpent climbing up the spine of the human to our cosmic egg, our dome, very similar depictions. So here at Millennium Park, you cross the Serpent Bridge, and it leads from the land of the gardens over by Buckingham Fountain to the land of what I'd like to refer to as the gateways. Here's Picture Pavilion, ground level view. It's the most intricate outdoor amphitheater in the world. Literally surrounds you with the tunes and the tones. And well, according to the New York Times, Ann Rader, when she visited this for the first time, well, to her, she thought this maw of curling steel, it looks like a celestial gateway to another universe. It does. It does. So first you cross the Serpent Bridge, maybe raise your kundalini, you check out the tunes and the tones of the celestial gateway to another universe, and then you finally get to the icon, Cloud Gate. And this is the icon of the city. Just like the gateway arch is to St. Louis, Cloud Gate is to Chicago. And this was done by a British artist by the name of Anish Kapoor. And he wanted this to be symbolic.